Golf Sports Psychology Challenges by Ramiro Mendez. Introduction. The sport of golf appears to be a simple sport where a ball is hit at the hole on the green. There are no other competitors who can interfere with your progress, therefore nothing can challenge you. However, the mind of each player plays a large role in their ability to concentrate and focus on the task at hand. To summarize this presentation, I'll give a brief introduction to the game of golf, a brief summary of the rules and etiquette of golf, and the psychological challenges of golf with special emphasis on attention and concentration and arousal control. For the next slide, we'll talk about the game of golf. Golf is one of the oldest sports in the world and believed by some to have emerged from Greece in its earliest form. The game of golf has its primitive origin from Scotland and began around the 15th century, where players would hit a pebble around a course of sand dunes and other natural terrains. These earlier forms of golf lacked an objective, or in other words, they did not have a target or a hole to aim at. Today, there are many forms of competition in the game of golf, the two primary ones being medal or match play. Match play is a type of competition where each hole is won by 3 holes with 2 left to play. Medal play requires that all shots are recorded and the winner is the one who took the least number of strokes. This is the most common type of play, and there are many other forms of individual or team play such as best ball or captain's hole. The next slide we will discuss the rules of golf. The rules of golf can be easily classified in terms of penalties, which are assessed if a rule is broken. Penalties range from no penalty, which is a free drop, to 1-stroke penalties, 2-stroke penalties, and then finally disqualifications. Free drops generally involve situations which are beyond your control and for which a player can seek relief with a free drop that allows for the relocation of the ball in the fairest way possible. For example, a situation where a free drop may be utilized is a ground under repair, a sprinkler head of the course being watered, casual water from rain, holes made by burrowing animals, or staked trees or shrubs. 1-stroke penalties are assessed when the golfer has contributed to the problem. For example, they've lost their ball has landed out of bounds, landing or has landed in direct hazardous waterways that run across the fairway, or a lateral water hazard where the water runs parallel to the fairway. Generally, there are 2 options for 1-stroke penalties. One might go back to the original spot and hit again, or keep on line with the water hazard and no closer to the hole. 2-stroke penalties are often penalties which are related to lapses in attention and can therefore be easily influenced by good mental training. Therefore, if you focus, these penalties will not happen to you. For example, grounding a club in a hazard, hitting the ball wrong, requesting assistance, or hitting a ball or flag on the green from a starting position on the green. For the next slide, I will discuss golf etiquette. Several examples of golf etiquette are playing without delay, identifying your ball, not stepping on the line of another player's putt, standing behind and outside of any sun shadow for other players, and being considerate of putting greens. Etiquette in golf covers both courtesy and course care. The most important aspect of etiquette is related to who has the first tee off at each hole. This refers to as honors and goes to the person with the lowest score on the previous hole. In the case of a tie, the person with the lowest score on the second to last hole has the honors. There are many other socially desirable behaviors which are traditional in golf. For example, standing quietly and not moving or talking as a player makes a stroke, withholding hitting until the next group in front of you is safely out of the way. There's also always playing without delay, once again, leaving the putting green as soon as the players in your group have holed out. And these rules of etiquette are very important in golf because if they are not executed properly and with respect, they may affect the mental game and outcome of others around you. For the next slide, I will be discussing psychological challenges in golf. This will cover concentration, anxiety, negative self-talk, overanalyzing, and distractions. Now, golf is a game which requires a great deal of mental control. Golf is considered to be one of the most challenging sports in terms of mental control. A single round of golf can take up to 5 hours to play, and during this lengthy period it is easy to lose concentration or to be distracted by something else. Golfers can also become either anxious or frustrated by their play or by the play of others. And by building and maintaining confidence, a golfer can learn to make appropriate corrections about what they can control and what is outside of their control. Golfers at times will doubt their skills, especially after a poor performance or a poor shot. During this time, they may talk to themselves in a negative way, or they may overanalyze their skill to the degree that interferes with their automatic execution of their strokes. Recent research, however, has shown that experts learn psychological skills which distinguish them from others who have good physical talent, but are not successful in competitive situations. For my next slide, I will now be discussing attention and concentration in golf. This will include focusing in, letting go, and the LDT model or guidelines. Maintaining attention and concentration throughout 18 holes of golf can be extremely challenging. However, great golfers are able to focus in and let go during a round of golf. For example, they concentrate extremely well just before and during their shot, and then they're able to let go between shots when they're walking around or, say, going over to the next hole. And they do this without losing their ability to take in important information. In other words, they're paying attention to everything that is around them and their surroundings. And golfers also learn the guideline known as LDT, which means lie, distance, and trajectory. This allows the golfer to focus in on the lie of the ball, the distance to the target, and the trajectory needed to get the ball to the target. When players can focus on this simple sequence, it helps them make better mental decisions and control their anxiety. For this next slide, I will now be discussing arousal control, and this will include identifying symptoms such as tension in your hands, shoulders, tension in your neck, anxiety, and arousal levels that are high and low. Now, arousal levels are very important to control during a competition. When an individual experiences frustration or a sense that they do not have the ability to meet the demands of a situation, then arousal levels may rise quickly. The relationship between arousal and anxiety levels in performance suggests that there is an optimal level of arousal. When performance is maximal, a moderate level is key in maximizing performance. If arousal is too low, it will reduce the performance. And if arousal is too high, then the performance will be negatively impacted. Therefore, it is important for golfers to be able to monitor their own arousal and keep it at a moderate level. Now, the first step in controlling arousal is to learn to identify the signs, the symptoms. Some golfers experience arousal with a dry mouth. They'll increase their sweat. They'll start sweating more. Increased respiration or heart rates. Their heart rate may rise. Others experience butterflies in their stomachs, or, as we talked about in the beginning, tension in the hands, shoulders, or the neck. And then the use of positive self-talk, relaxation, and imagery are three of the very popular forms that people use to control their arousal level. And if the learner can learn these strategies, then these strategies may be very useful in controlling arousal levels during competition, which can then maximize performance. And finally, in conclusion, I have determined that the sport of golf is highly mental, as it contains several psychological factors such as performance anxiety, which can greatly affect levels of performance during competition. Due to the mental factors and the nature of golf, it is important to have mental training strategies in place to complement the golfer's technique. The sport of golf is a large mental game where concentration, confidence, and optimism are vital to success. To successfully implement mental training strategies, a golfer must understand their weaknesses and mentally prepare themselves for a round of golf. Therefore, a positive and clear mindset can greatly affect the outcome of a match in the game of golf.